from the GMS Atlanta camp. And before we get into this message, we want to send out our prayers in all honor to
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash.
Okay, and also we want to send double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, whom rule teach well, whom the Most High has used as vessels to be able to teach the sheepfold unto whom the truth really is. Okay, and so today's message is going to be going into going into Amos 3:7, going into the Cornelius doctrine, because one of the latest stronghold for new members of the Hebrew Israelite movement is that Cornelius was an Israelite. And so first, we're going to start off with Amos 3:7, if the brother can bring that up.
Yeah, Con. This is Amos chapter 3, verses 7. I'll start at verse 6. Shall a trumpet be blown in the city, and the people not be afraid? Shall there be evil in a city, and the Lord have not done it?
That's right. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, you Christians like to believe that the Most High is always in control, but you like to leave the scripture out when it comes to the Old Testament. Shall a trumpet be blown, and the Most High has not done it? So, every time that you hear a lake in Riley, every time that you hear about a Palisade firestorm, the Most High has done that. Huh? You know what I'm saying? So this is again, we go back to the separation. This is the difference between the Hebrew Israelites and you so-called Christians. You know what I'm saying? We believe the Bible, and this is what the Bible says. Shall a trumpet be blown? Shall judgment be blown? And the Most High has not done it? You know what I'm saying? So we do not serve a reactionary God. The Most High has blown that trumpet. He's been blowing that trumpet since Isaiah 19. You know what I'm saying? So if you can continue on with that, Baba Shah.
This is Amos 3:7. Surely the Lord power will do nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto his servants, the prophets.
And that's exactly what we're going into this message with. You know what I'm saying? So, like, a lot of you Christians try to stay away from the Old Testament.
Yep.
You know? And nowadays, until the Hebrew Israelites came up on the scene, now you want to go into Isaiah 19.
Right.
Now you want to go into Isaiah 63.
They want to go into Revelation now.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Trying to break it down.
Yeah. Explain to me Egypt. Explain to me Revelation 11, verse 8. You know, you can't explain it. You cannot explain the New Testament without bringing up the Old Testament. And that's who we are. We are the Old Testament Hebrew Israelites, the so-called blacks, natives, and Hispanics. So now, what the brother had just read is that the Most High will do nothing, but he reveals his secrets to his servants. Now, if a brother can get on the etymology, if the brother can get the word servants, because we are his servants, right? Because I'm going to ask you a question. Who did the Most High put forth? What's the word that I'm looking for here? His covenant. Who did the Most High give his covenant to? You know, you cannot be a servant to somebody that you do not know. Right? So who did the Most High give his words to?
That's a really good point you made, because even with us, when the Lord commanded us to go into the heathens' lands, he never commanded us to teach them or try to abridge them unto the law, statutes, and commandments that was given to us. He told us to subject them. And it says that Yahweh Shah, of course, which is the Son of the Most High, Yahweh Shah comes in the Son in the image of the Most High, Yahweh Shah, yesterday, today, and forever. The Lord changeth, the Most High changeth not. So now all of a sudden, in this cataclysmic time when it was massive confusion, because the Greeks brought hella confusion on the earth through Hellenization. And then the Roman captivity, which was pretty much an extension, was like an extension of Greece, with a couple of, added ligaments, if you will. They being the successor kingdom now all of a sudden, Moabites and Ammonites and Edomites and all these heathens can just free flow into the covenant. It don't work like that, man. It don't work like that in no wise. You know, even with these nations, they don't just allow Negroes to go into certain. You got a kingdom, like you have kings and empires in China. They ain't gonna just let anybody just get into that imperialism, so to speak. It's a sign for those of blue bloods or nobility. It's a bloodline. You know, it's their right as a people that took over that land or to actually have, you know, they assigned it for them. It's not for anybody to get in, you know, and that's why it was commanded even amongst their people not to marry of the other nations. Chinese people not to marry white people or something. The first, I'm talking about the more hardcore generation. Later on, it started to mix and get more and more confusing. But in the ancient world, the scriptures speak about how the Lord divided the nations and He set the bounds.
Yeah, that's right.
That was of the Most High to say, you white, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, you Israelites, y'all live over here. And even amongst y'all still have y'all own quarters. Right. And you heathens, y'all stay over there. Y'all stay over here. The Lord separated the nations. You gotta go.
I'm gonna get that precept, Deuteronomy 32 and verse 8.
Because see, the Most High declared a difference between His people and the other nations.
Yeah.
And that's what the brother's about to get into. See, do you believe the Bible? Do you believe what the Most High says? Because we do. And this, again, I mean, I know I sound like a broken record when I say this, but it's not just what we want, but it's what the Bible says. And that's what the brother's about to read, if you can.
This is Deuteronomy 32 and verse 7. Remember the days of old, consider the years of many generations. Ask thy father, and he will show thee, thy elders, and they will tell thee. Yeah, we got the apostles and elders to show us the way, man, to break down these scriptures, man. I was watching the video, man, when the apostles and elders was in DC, I was like, wow, I was just like blown away, you know, because we have we don't necessarily have our so-called fathers because they're in the world, but we have spiritual fathers, man, to give us the understanding how to conduct ourselves, man, because that's something that we might have left. You know, your dad might have not told you about how to deal with these women or how to deal with your money, right, or how to deal with. And that's why we have our spiritual fathers. That's why we give double honors to the apostles and elders.
That's right.
This is
and they ultimately rightfully divide the word of truth.
Right.
That's right.
Because this word is precept upon precept. Like us, we bedazzling you with all these big boy words like they do in these different churches.
That's right.
You know, giving you these $10,000 dictionary words that you got to hunt through the dictionary. You already know, man, majority of people don't know that word.
Right.
But that's how they keep you asleep. Because you're like, he gotta be the all knowing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
We breaking these things simple. It's easy. It's so easy that a baby can comprehend it, man. Right. That a child should be able to comprehend it. But you Negroes are just stubborn. Right. Say the adamant harder than flint, but you gotta go so.
And so going back into that, one of the biggest strongholds, as an Israelite coming into the truth is, understand that Cornelius wasn't an Israelite. So if a brother can get Acts 10 and 1.
I'm going to finish on this Deuteronomy 32.
Come on.
Deuteronomy 32 and 8. When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance. So it says the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance.
So hold on a minute. Does that mean that the nations have free will? No, because the Most High divided unto themselves what each nation can do and what they cannot do.
Possessions, yeah.
That's right.
An inheritance is also a heritage.
Right. Can you come into a family and reap the inheritance of someone that has died when you have no bloodline to it? No.
Yeah, that's like us taking a trip to the UK and knocking on what's that demon's name? King. What's his name? King. He was a prince, but he's a king now. Ever since that old bitch dropped dead in the UK. What's her name? What's this guy's name? Prince Charles. That's like us going to Buckingham Palace. Hey man, we need some of that. We need some of that. Israelite niggas, what the hell are you? You know, you trying to get the benefits, and that's what we trying to tell you Christians, man. You gotta be, you Christians better hope you're Israelites, man. All right, you better hope you're the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So continue on. It says, Deuteronomy 32.
It's not to say, just fast forward to that. Or just to add to that, case in point, in the book of Revelations, they still bring up the 12 tribes and 144,000. They come out, if it didn't matter during the time of Acts, why are you talking about the 12 tribes?
Yeah.
And then it's still putting heathens on the outer courts. Because if Cornelius had free access as a Edomite, as you guys say, to just pray to the Most High, his prayer is just going to the throne of the Most High as a heathen. Why is it still giving separations of the heathens in the book of Revelations?
Exactly.
You got to make it make sense.
When you go back to the book of 2 Kings, chapter 17, even the Ethiopians were worshiping our power. You know what I'm saying? Because they understood who our power was. See, you have to understand that our power was Al-Shaddai, demon-like power. Right. Salaki, if I'm going off on the verbiage, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the point is that it's a demon-like power. A demon-like power unto whom? A demon-like power unto you other nations, because ultimately our salvation is upon him. You know what I'm saying? So if a brother can go on with Acts 10.
Let me finish this Deuteronomy.
Okay.
Deuteronomy 32:8. When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, and you can read Genesis 10 and 31 and 32 on that. He set the bounds of the people according.
He set the bounds.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so that he could not pass here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Continue on.
It says he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. For the Lord's portion is his people. That's a possessive pronoun.
His people.
Jacob is the lot of his inheritance. So we can go to Acts 10. Now this is Acts chapter 10 and verses 1. There was a certain man in Caesarea called Cornelius, a centurion of the band called the Italian band.
Now, if you do a quick research here, is it possible that the Jewish people could be a part of that Roman band? The answer is yes. Just like nowadays, we even have brothers in the truth that have in their past lives been a part of the American army. Now, though they were American soldiers, does that take away from the part that they were Israelites? No. So we have an Israelite here. Again, you have to take it back to 1 Maccabees 2. You have to understand that there was a separation. There was a separation between practicing Israelites that were practicing their heritage and other Israelites that took upon the customs of the Gentiles. Okay, but in this case, you have an Israelite that had taken upon the customs of a Gentile, Cornelius.
Yeah.
Continuing on.
Okay, fine. This is Acts chapter 10 and verses 2. A devout man and one that feared the Most High with all his house.
Yeah, and these cats out there don't know that Italy is a country, man.
Right.
Just like us, we're Americans. Somebody say, "Are you American?" We don't deny. I am American. Yes, we are Americans by citizenship. As a citizen, we are Americans. But is that our nationality? Our nation doesn't go back. Like Italian isn't even really a nationality. Italy isn't a nationality.
Right.
So in Genesis, when it deals with the 18 nation charts, Italy's not on that list.
Right.
So what is his national? You got to listen to the saying is context clues. A God-fearing man, a man who feared the Most High. Why is he fearing the Most High?
Yes, what?
Prayed daylight unto so he knew the name Yahweh, or prayed, through the Spirit, but it was to that power, and it still had to be it was the connection of him praying to that power.
Right.
Not to Buddha, not to Allah, or those gods wasn't even prevalent at that time, but not to the gods of the heathens, but to Yahweh.
Well, when you go into the word fear, it's a reverence.
Mm-hmm.
So, how do you show reverence? to a power. You know, you cannot show reverence unto a power unless the power gives you his bylaws. And then, you know, we can link that up with Psalms 147 and 19. He shows his word unto Jacob. Unto the other nations, he has not done so.
Mm-hmm.
So how can you link that up? You know, it goes back to Jacob. So we have an Israelite man who feared the Most High. Now, you cannot fear someone unless you have a direct relationship with him, right? Continue on.
This is Acts chapter 10 and verses 2. A devout man and the one that feared the Most High with all his house, which gave much alms to the people and prayed to the Most High always. That can't be no damn heathen, man. All right, because it says in Psalms 10, if I may, let's get Psalms 10 right quick. Because, you know, these people be like, oh, he's an Edomite. You know, this is Psalms chapter 10. So I can get it. Psalm 10 and verses verse 2. The wicked in his pride they'll persecute the poor. Let them be taken in the devices that they have imagined. For the wicked boasteth of his heart's desire and blesses the covetous, whom the Lord abhorreth. The wicked, through the pride of his countenance, will not seek after the Most High. The Most High is not in all his thoughts. So he cannot, Cornelius can sure as hell not be an Edomite or the other nations, man. Because the Most High, Cornelius, you said he prayed to the Most High first and foremost. The only people that can pray to the Most High is the Israelites, all right? When you read Revelation 5 and 8, that's a sweet Savior going before the Lord. You got the left-hand side with these elites, where it talks about the accuser of our brethren. Yeah, they do on the left-hand side, but the Most High is fulfilling his will at the end of the day, man. So Cornelius sure as hell cannot be an Edomite or another nation, man, because he's a devout man. When you go to that word devout, it goes into piety, man. It's a certain way how you come before the Most High and worship him. So he sure as hell cannot be an Edomite, man.
Right. That's right. Just like the brother said, man. See, you know, as Bible believers, if you are a Bible believer, and again, that's the biggest separator. As a Bible believer, we read through these words, but we don't understand the power of these words. You know what I'm saying? So, like, it says that the prayers of Cornelius went up before the Most High. So, the brother is going to read a quick scripture about whose prayers go up before the Most High, if you can.
Yeah, it's at Tobit
12 and 15.
Tobit 12 and 15. Let's see if I want yeah. I am Raphael, one of the 7 holy angels, which present the prayers of the saints, and which go in and out before the glory of the Holy One.
Can you go, Baba Kasha, can you read Acts 10 and 4 one more time, Baba Kasha?
You mean verse 2?
Verse 4.
Acts 10, I'm going to go to verse 3. He saw in a vision evidently about the 9th hour of the day, an angel of the Most High coming into him and saying unto him, Cornelius. And when he looked on him, he was afraid and said, What is it, Lord? And he said unto him, Thy prayers and thy alms are come up for a memorial before the Most High.
Thy prayers and thy alms are come before a memorial of the Most High. Now, can you read that? Tobit 12 and 15 one more time, Baba Kasha?
Yeah. All right,
because see, even though a Moabite, even though an Elamite, even though a wicked bastard can pray to the Most High, because Scripture says, what has the heathen to do with my prayer? Right? There is only one person, Jeshurun, according to Isaiah 44. Jeshurun's prayer goes up to the Most High. Jeshurun being the upright. Now, who was the upright? Wisdom Solomon 5. The upright, we are upright because we've been given the law. Okay? Now, the brother just said that his prayers have gone up before the Most High. And so according to our elders and our apostles, we have to line up everything precept upon precept. So this is a precept.
Yeah. And even that's why we're known as the lost sheep of the house of Israel. because we were scattered. James 1:1. We were scattered all throughout those lands that Paul went into. That's where we was our dwelling quarters, and we was calling ourselves by those heathens. We was in heathen. We had heathen occupations. A centurion, or like Negro being police officer.
Right.
You know, that's predominantly, you would think of East Edomite being in these top positions, even governors and mayors. Those Roman style offices. They be Negroes in them, man. But
just how like this guy who's a lame duck, Sleepy Joe, the Secretary of Defense was a so-called black man. Going back to the times of 70 AD, what's that guy's name? Tiberius Julius Alexander, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. He was a general in the Flavian dynasty, man, who took down his own people. So it's not far-fetched that in today's period, you know, you got black cops. Well, they always say the black cops is always showing out for the white cops.
Right.
There's nothing new under the sun, man.
A black man's enemy is the worst enemy of another black man. Same thing, like a brown man is the worst enemy of another brown man. So, but to prove the point here is that Cornelius' prayers went up to the Most High. Mm-hmm. And the brother is going to read a precept that shows whose prayers goes up to the Most High. If you can on that, Tobit.
All right, Tobit 12:15 says, I am Raphael, one of the 7 holy angels, which present the prayers of the saints.
The prayers of the saints. And now we can link that up with Psalms 148, because the prayers of the saints are his people, Israel. So Raphael is saying he takes up the prayers of the saints, which are Israelites. He takes up the prayers of the saints to the Most High. Yeah. So now, how can you go back to Cornelius' prayers being brought up to the presence of the Most High unless he's part of the saints?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. Can you read that out?
Psalm 148.
Psalm
148:14. He also exalted the horn of his people, the praise of all his saints, even of the children of Israel. A people near unto him, praise ye the Lord.
He exalts the horn of his praise of people. So he doesn't exalt the people of the Moabites. He doesn't exalt the people of the fucking Canaanites. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't do it. So the only prayers that go up to the Most High are his people. If Brooks can give me Acts 1 and 6.
Yeah, and the Lord is the one who gave us that access. You know, even the covenant given unto Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You know, the Lord didn't disannul that. It was never Abraham, Isaac, and Esau. It was never Abraham, Ishmael. You know, the 18 nations, going back to the nation. So the Lord just started dipping and dabbling with his law, with his covenants, with his promises. Paul already established that in Romans 9th chapter after the book of Acts. Right. Who are Israelites, to whom pertains to adoption. What's the adoption? That's being bought back because we was orphans. We was calling ourselves Romans. We was calling ourselves what's some other identities? Well, I was saying even during that time, Grecians. Through policy too, Hellenization. When we was living in those countries, we became, as the saying goes, countrymen. Mm-hmm. We was living according to that culture, according to that identity, which we didn't have no business being in those lands, but we was brought in captivity. That's why Paul went out his way, even Yahweh Shah, to go and rescue or bring back the ones that had an open ear, the ones that feared the Most High, and back into the pasture. That's what the whole thing is about. It wasn't no damn white fucking Chinese man or a natural born Ethiopian and these heathens. It was Israelites.
Right.
You got it.
Because the whole narrative, what Jake believed in, or even Christians believing that Cornelius was a heathen that got salvation. Because that's the whole narrative. Mm-hmm. They want to say there's a loophole for the Christian to get through by the narrow gate. Like here's the door, and then Edomite neighborhood Amalekites get through. No, it don't work like that, man. It even tells you in Revelation 11 that the temple that's closed without, that's talking about the heathens, man. They can't enter into the temple, man. It even tells you in Revelation that there's 12 gates for the 12 tribes of Israel, man. So this is just a narrative of Christians and other Hebrew Israelites in that Christian spirit trying to save the heathen. Like these guys, Mr. Bojangles, GOCC, the guy that's throwing his hat and Passover and doing all these dances. That's his narrative, trying to save heathens, man. We ain't out here to save heathens, man. We out here catching hell from these heathens daily. Why the hell does a heathen need to be saved from, man? These heathens live in gated communities. When you look at Esau's neighborhood, it's a whole bunch of Edomites and a sprinkle of other nations. And guess what? They're trying to get away from you blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, man.
Yeah, and it even speaks about the dogs licking the sword, so they all benefit from our captivity. But now they praying to the Most High, and they fear the Most High. No, that's talking about us being in these certain areas. Even Cornelius practiced being a Roman centurion. He was oppressing Jakes, just like Moses.
Right.
You know, Moses was in a certain authoritative position under that government, and he felt empathy and sympathy for his people. He felt, wrong for his, now he wasn't necessarily being the first-hand oppressor, but still him being attached to that kingdom. We was always in positions where we were attached to the kingdoms, and we had to serve. Like Mackie being a tax collector.
Yeah.
That would be the modern day of working for the IRS.
Yeah.
So we can take these modern day practices and we can go all the way back in so that we can have a common understanding. You got it.
Right. So the Most High can only listen to the prayers of a fervent man, which is Israel, right? Now, just to show a contrast, this is Proverbs 14, verse 29. It says, "The Most High, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah, is far from the wicked, but he hears the prayer of the righteous." So explain this to me. Explain this to how the Most High can change from being far from the wicked, but then somehow listen to a prayer of Cornelius. It doesn't make sense. It goes back to the fact that Cornelius was an Israelite that had been assigned to the Roman army.
Right.
And we can relate this to the fact nowadays, again, you have so-called Mexicans, you have so-called blacks, you have so-called natives in the army.
Yeah.
Though they are U.S. Army soldiers, does that take away from their bloodline? No. Cornelius was an Israelite in the Roman army, but his bloodline was that of an Israelite. And that's what it's going out to.
Yeah, they act like this is a new concept of Israel being an army of the heathen nations. Going back to in this time period, look how many Jakes have served in the Korean War.
Right.
When you look at the Vietnam War, they enlisted almost 50,000 Puerto Ricans. So what do you think is going to happen out there, man? This goes into the Israelite forums as well, too, man, because Jake will go out there, Jake will be out there fighting the war. He'll knock up a woman of another nation, and there you go with that line. They might be looking like the heathen, but their bloodline goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, man. So this ain't far-fetched, even in modern times. Like, the Korean War is back in the 1940s, man. That was, roughly 80 years ago? This ain't far-fetched for Jake to be in the man's army. You know what I'm saying? That's something that comes with, research and common sense, and also we having the Holy Spirit, man.
Yeah, because certain Jakes will be getting to those positions and they be captives, and then they receive honors, even in captivity. The so-called white men see how certain Negroes perform, and they be like, you know what? Let me give him some rank. See how you deal. The next thing you know, Jake will be in a high ass position, man. Look at niggas now.
Right. It all comes back down to this. When you go back to the Cornelius chapter, because again, this is Christians like to use this as their one whole be all. You know what I'm saying? But when you go back to the Cornelius doctrine, Cornelius had a dream. And the Most High, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shah, gave him exact directions. He said, go to Joppa. You're going to find Peter. And Peter's going to tell you the truth. All right? And now we can link that up with Tobit 12 and 13. Because the prayers of the righteous go before the Most High. So now, we understand that Cornelius' prayers went before the Most High because he was righteous. Okay? So now, we're going to contrast that with Daniel in the second chapter. Because, again, Cornelius had a very clear mission. Go to Joppa, meet Peter. Mm-hmm. Now, when you contrast that with Daniel 2, and I'm going to go ahead and read it. It says, Daniel 2, verse 1, and in the second year of the reign of Nebuchadnezzar dreamed dreams wherewith his spirit was troubled, and his slate brake with him. Then the king commanded to call the magicians and the astrologers, the sorcerers, the Chaldeans, for to show the king his dreams. So they came and stood before the king. And the king said unto them, I have dreamed the dream, and my spirit was troubled to know them. Why was his spirit troubled? It was because the king couldn't understand the vision. Okay? We can link that back up to the very first scripture that we brought up in this lesson. Amos 3 and 7. The Most High will do nothing but to reveal his secrets to his to his servants the prophets. Right? So now we have Cornelius. We see a complete contrast. Cornelius was told, this is exactly what you have to do. Go to Joppa, meet with Peter. Mm-hmm. Now, we have the contrast. We have Nebuchadnezzar. Mm-hmm. Nebuchadnezzar had a dream, but he didn't understand it. What did the Most High mean for Nebuchadnezzar to understand the dream? He needed an Israelite. Yep. Goes back to Amos 3 and 7. Right. And that's why we can link up and say Cornelius was an Israelite. Mm-hmm. Because the only way that Cornelius could send word to Joppa to get Peter was that the Most High was dealing with him.
Yeah, and another thing too, just to add to the brother, when Israel was going to those outskirts, they lost their heritage. You have Israelites that actually had records, like the sons of Aaron. They had what you would be quote unquote like you have a birth certificate or an ancestry. You would know the seed line. We had records in Israel. You know, we didn't. It wasn't just only the Holy Bible. We were a nation. We had records of our lineage. Our we had lands and heritages. A lot of stuff that was named after us, memorabilia of fathers and grandfathers. So when Esau started to destroy a lot of stuff, when we was in all these different lands throughout Asia Minor, we didn't know if we was even from Judah, Benjamin, Levi. As an Israelite living in those outskirts, they wasn't going to Jerusalem 3 times a year. They didn't know about the Passover. They lost their whole culture. They lost everything. So they could only go off of their citizenship. He's a Greek. But if you know those individuals that were being reached for, it was Israelites that was living in those lands, whether they were being called Greeks, or whether it would be called Italians. If there was anything where the Most High was dealing with them on that divine level, they were Israelites. That's why it had to be already established through Yahweh Shai. That's why Yahweh Shai came at that time, and that's why it was chronological. For Peter to receive that vision of unclean Israelites, Israelites, to come into that fold, and then that's when it started to proceed to Paul being knocked off, and all these different men to complement the work of the lost sheep, going back to the lost sheep of the house of Israel, being brought back into that, going back home.
Right.
You got it.
Because when you go back to Acts, the 10th chapter, you see, we are reading off Acts, the 11th chapter, but when you go back to Acts, the 10th chapter, when the Most High brings down that blanket, per se, and it shows all these unclean animals. I mean, Christians like to chalk that up and say that the Most High just showed up and said, hey, you know what, it's okay to eat shrimp. It's okay to eat all kinds of animals for cloven hooves, you know what I'm saying? But that's not what he did, man. See, the Most High changes not, man.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I got one.
Therefore, you sons of Jacob aren't consumed. Because according to you guys, y'all would consume the whole concept of being an Israelite.
Mm.
If that's the case, what's the point of you really in being an Israelite?
Right.
You a son of the power, but everybody got the power. You're really not a son of the power.
Yeah.
You know?
It's really.
What's the point of Israel?
Yeah.
It would be Jacob would be consumed.
Yeah.
So that would mean Esau through all his works of coming in and Hellenizing and destroying and scattering. That means he accomplished his feat because now he got the inheritance.
Yeah.
The blessing.
The same man is trying to put a digital onto your hand.
Right.
He's gonna get salvation. When it says in Proverbs 16:4, the Lord made all things, even the wicked, for the day of evil. So how in the hell can this man be saved when you do a thorough research? First and foremost, like it says in Revelation 3:21 or 20, the Lord got to sup with you, man. You got to sit at the table and eat the buffet of righteousness to even. First of all, you got to be an Israelite, man. All right, we ain't talking about Christians, man, because technically the real Christians are Israelites according to Acts 11:26. So you got to be an Israelite. You got to have the faith. And you got to have the Holy Spirit, with Kakadash, to even get these understandings. Because how in the hell is a man that's trying to even blow up his own self with his intercontinental ballistic missiles? Oh, Most High's not a man that he should lie. It ain't like, oh yeah, I know you're trying to blow yourself up in the whole earth, but here goes salvation. It don't work like that, man. And that's what you people are so delusional over. Well, you the same people that just got done celebrating New Year's, got done eating that honey baked ham. And ate that honey baked ham 2 months ago during Thanksgiving, man. So this is only for the elect, man.
That's right. It's only for the elect, man. And this, you know what I'm saying? Like, it goes back to the circle.
Right.
Cornelius was an Israelite. The only way that Cornelius' prayers can go up are for the Most High, as mentioned in Acts 10, because that's what it says in verse 3. It says, your prayers go up before the Most High. Now, when you link that up with Tobit 12, only the prayers of the Israelites go up before the Most High. So the only way that Cornelius' prayers can go up before the Most High was for Cornelius to be an Israelite.
Right.
It's a cut. Mm-hmm. Look, salvation is only for the Israelites, you so-called blacks and Arabs and Hispanics. And we are here to just prove it to you. And so,
whether you hear or whether you forbear.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people still can't get it because you don't. The scripture says, blessed is he that read. You niggas don't read.
Yeah.
And first off, when you read the scriptures, you got to go from Genesis to Malachi. All right. And then even certain books of that is a little bit out of the chronology, But anyways, Genesis to Malachi, just to make the point. After, for instance, like Job, they say Job might be, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
From Malachi, you still have the Apocrypha.
Right.
What happened after the Persian captivity? A lot of these individuals don't like no history of the Hasmonean dynasty and the Greek captivity with Alexander. Nobody knows. None of these people who actually go into the scriptures know anything about Hellenization, so you can't teach the scriptures. Nobody
acknowledges the fact that Esau is the border of wickedness.
The border of wickedness. You have to know these certain points in the scriptures to know it's like a flow. Just like when you're watching a movie, you gotta know the setting, you gotta know the details, you gotta know all these different things so you can get the movie. And the metaphor, the camera, you have to watch the previous movie. If it's the third, you gotta watch the whole thing in order to be a true movie critic. You cannot critique a movie and you just jumped into the third movie. You didn't watch the second or the first. I don't like the third. But did you watch the first or the second?
Right. You know what? Can I say something? Yeah. A lot of you Christians will base your salvation off of the New Testament, but yet you want to apply that when it comes to The Walking Dead. You want to apply that to Harry Potter. You will sit there and you will want to watch the first season, the second season of The Walking Dead. You want to watch the first season, the second season of Harry Potter.
Yeah.
And then you want to base your salvation on the third season. Okay, so now we're telling you the same thing. Base your salvation on the entire. You have to eat the whole roll. And that's what we've done. You think it's easy for us to be able to eat the whole roll and acknowledge the fact that maybe our family members may not make it? Maybe Our wife may not make it. Our kids may not make it. Well, we've ate the whole road. And we pray to Yahweh that he gives us the understanding to be able to acknowledge that, man.
Yeah.
But see, that's the difference, man. We believe the Bible. We believe it from A to Z. You motherfuckers, you believe it from M to Z.
Yeah, that's the
But
problem.
we've been at A.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I mean,
That's why
that.
the Lord commanded Ezekiel. He didn't say, I suggest you.
He
It's an
commanded.
option. If you want to eat the whole roll, or you can take a little piece of the roll. No, you gotta eat the whole roll, then teach.
He commanded it.
Right, yeah, man.
It wasn't no choice.
And a lot of you people that teach don't eat. Y'all haven't ate the whole roll.
Right. Yeah.
Can you give us an understanding of the book of Maccabees, first Maccabees, second Maccabees?
Right.
Can you give us an overview of these books? Can you at least give us an overview?
10 years ago, y'all weren't even going into the Old Testament.
Exactly.
Now you motherfuckers want to go into Isaiah 19.
Mm-hmm.
Now you want to go into Obadiah.
Yeah, now they're trying to now they're accepting the fact that we accept apocrypha.
Ah,
Where'd you learn that from?
I get that in Psalms 147.
who took that from us?
I got this quick brief. Psalms 147:19. He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel.
So if I made a promise with you, person A to B, if A to B made a promise with person to B, that promise is only good to person B. Is that promise good to person C? Is that promise good to person D? Is it good to person E? The answer is no. He only showed it to person B. Continue on.
Okay.
To verse 20.
Yep. To Israel, he hath not dealt so with any nation.
He never made that promise with anybody else, man. Salvation. Behold, I set before thee life and death. Who did he say that to? To you so-called blacks, you natives, and Hispanics. He never said it to anybody else. You cannot write yourself in. If I write a letter, me being a so-called Mexican, if I write a letter in Spanish, and I write a letter to the fucking Mexicans, if an American picks up that letter, does it give him the right to the inheritance? The answer is no. Psalms 147:19. He has not done so with any other nation. He only did it with one nation, and that's who? You so-called blacks, natives, and Hispanic. Cornelius was an Israelite.
Yeah.
His prayers went up before the Most High, according to Tobit 12, because Raphael sends the prayers of the Israelites to the Most High. It could not be any other way.
All right. He have not dealt so with any nation. And as for his judgment, they have not known. Praise ye Yahweh.
Praise ye the Most High that we have salvation. Praise ye the Most High that you can listen to the truth. And so with that,
Lord willing, that list was edifying. First and foremost, once again, we want to give all praises to the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son. A double honor to the apostles and elders of Greater Millstone. And peace, love, and salutation to all you documents pushing the truth to sincerity. Shalom.
Shalom. Say that one more time. Cornelius on that horn shit out there.